let's start. Good afternoon, everyone, and a very warm welcome to all of you on today's occasion of World Environment Day 2026. Today, we have a very special pilot webinar on Super El Nino and its impact. I am Dolphy Raman, Disaster Risk Reduction and Climate Change Consultant with CRY, and it is my privilege to moderate today's session. And this today's webinar is being jointly hosted by Institute for Development Support, Dehradun, Knowledge Links, Ghaziabad, and ARC Foundation, Delhi. And I would like to express my sincere gratitude to all the partner organizations for allowing us the time and space to host today's pilot initiative. So today is our first webinar in a series of hopefully many future webinars to come on very current and emergent topics like today's, that is Super El Nino. We have been seeing and hearing this word day in and out for the past 1 month now, and today we will try and decode what that means for us in India in different regions with our two experts. So, just to give you a brief about what we are going to do today, climate change is a very real and an emergent concern today. It is the reality that we are living in. It is the reality that today children are growing up in. Our economy, our life, our livelihoods, our choices, everything is being shaped by climate change and vice versa. And including many global weather patterns, El Nino remains one of the most significant, and scientists have warned that stronger and more frequent El Nino events, often referred to as super El Nino episodes, can trigger widespread impacts, including extreme heat waves, droughts, forest fires, and water scarcity, along with intense rainfall and flooding in different parts of the world. For countries like India, we must understand such changing climate dynamics in order to strengthen our disaster risk reduction efforts and build resilient communities. So today's discussion brings together distinguished experts from their domains who have extensive experience in the fields of disaster risk reduction, climate change mitigation, and adaptation. Their insights will help us better understand the science behind Super El Nino, its implications for society and ecosystems, and the actions that we need to take urgently to reduce our risk and build resilience. Without further delay, let me begin the technical session with our first speaker, that is Dr. Kumar Raka. So, before I invite him to continue his talk, let me give a brief introduction to the speaker. Dr. Kumar Raka is a distinguished and seasoned disaster risk reduction and climate change mitigation professional. He is currently associated with Knowledge Links, EHI, IDS, ARC, and IISSM. And he has been formally associated with NDMA, NIDM, NDRF, and Noida Authority. Among many of his distinguished achievements, he has led and established child-centric disaster risk reduction unit at NIDM, and he has led many national and global worldwide records in earthquake and disaster risk reduction drill. Currently, he is providing his expert services to various organizations such as Knowledge Links, IISSM, ARC, and EHI. So let me invite Dr. Raka to the floor. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much, Dolphy. Thanks a lot. Today, what we are going to speak about, I think I am loud and clear. My voice is loud and clear to everyone. Right, so that I can share a presentation with audience. And rightly, Dolphy is like already mentioned that we are going to deal with a topic which seems very scientific, El Nino and La Nino, what is all these things. But the reality is this, we are living with it, right? And we need to understand how our climate is actually getting affected by all these phenomena and how it's impacting the social fabric, the structure, the economy, and as a conscious citizens, what we can do our best. So the entire presentation will be based on that. Let me share my screen to all of you. That will be best. Whatever questions will be coming to your mind and everything at the end of the session, we will handle all the questions since it's a very small group of participants audience. So we will be much more interactive rather than going for the larger audience mode. So I'll keep talking to you both in English and Hindi if that's not a problem, so that everyone is understanding the contents and all. So the like I was talking that El Nino, when we are talking about, it's not something very scientific. Actually, we are living with it, and it's in our day-to-day life, right? What is El Nino and why we are talking it today? Today is the World Environment Day, and the world is celebrating it. And conscious citizen, like I told, we have certain responsibilities to fulfill on our part. So that also we will be discussing in details. So let's go ahead with what is actually India is already reeling under going on, and in last month also May, all over the India we just experienced that what is the condition of heat. It's beyond normal. 2 से 3 डिग्री टेम्परेचर एवरीवेयर ऑल ओवर द कंट्री वाज इंक्रीज्ड. क्या हो रहा है इस बार? व्हाट इज स्पेशल विथ इट? Is it normal going? We are going normally like every year, or something concerning is coming to us? So something is concerning here is this time. What the prediction is that a super El Nino is forming, and this is going to affect the entire monsoon season. And you know that monsoon season is highly required, much more required for our farmers, बिकॉज मोस्ट ऑफ द इंडिया जो गंगा का आपका मैदान है, गैग्नेटिक प्लेन्स जिसको कहते हैं, दैट इज बिहार एंड उत्तर प्रदेश मेनली, दैट इज बेसिकली टोटली डिपेंडेंट ऑन द मानसून रेन्स. Okay, so this is very important to ask us the question that how many of us feel this summer is unusually hot. Okay, so आप लोग अगर हैंड रेज करें तो मुझे भी फील होगा कि ओके, एवरीवन इज एक्सपीरियंस कि इट्स नॉर्मल और समथिंग एक्स्ट्रा, कुछ ज्यादा गर्मी बढ़ रही है या एज इट इज है. सो जस्ट रेज योर हैंड्स इफ यू आर फीलिंग दैट समथिंग इज एबनॉर्मल गोइंग ऑन. ओके, so let's go ahead with that. Why this topic today? Already we discussed it. Now for climate inspired by the nature. This is the theme of the day, what we are celebrating worldwide. Today is the World Environment Day. And it's what we are going to talk about. El Nino is no longer a distant ocean event. Normally ये समुद्र से related एक event है, but समुद्र भले हमसे कितना भी दूर हो, how much far away it is, it's affecting the entire plain areas. Okay, it's affecting our just हमारी खेती कैसी हो रही है, फार्मिंग कैसी हो रही है, उपज कैसी होगी, what drinking water actually we are using in our day-to-day life, that is also being affected by this ocean phenomena. Public health is again very important. This is very important. आज दुनिया में कहीं भी कुछ भी हो रहा है, लाइक द ग्लोबल वर्ल्ड, यूएसए में कुछ हो रहा है, यूएस ईरान कन्फ्लिक्ट चल रहा है, बट अफेक्ट हर जगह पे है. द सेम वे इट्स ओशियन में, भले ही प्रशांत महासागर El Nino कहीं बन रहा है, बट उसका अफेक्ट हर जगह पे. अंडरस्टैंडिंग द साइंस व्हाई इट मैटर्स दिस ईयर, we will see how India is going to be impacted and what practically we can do. सबसे पहले समझते हैं क्या है ये. अंडर नॉर्मल कंडीशंस क्या होता है कि ट्रेड विंड्स एक तरह की हवाएं होती हैं जो समुद्र के ऊपर चलती हैं, और नॉर्मली वेस्ट की तरफ, वो वेस्टवर्ड की तरफ बढ़ती हैं, और समुद्र के ऊपर जो गर्म पानी होता है उसको वो एशिया और ऑस्ट्रेलिया की तरफ पुश करती हैं. आप पिक्चर में भी देख सकते हैं कि ऑस्ट्रेलिया और एशिया की तरफ धीरे धीरे हवाएं जो होती हैं वो हॉट वाटर को पुश करती है. एंड उसके साथ साथ साउथ अमेरिकन कोस्ट जो है वो वहां पे न्यूट्रिएंट रिच वाटर, कोल्ड वाटर जो है वो नीचे से ऊपर आता है. एंड दिस प्रोसेस इज कॉल्ड अपवेलिंग, जो पानी नीचे से ऊपर आता है. एंड दिस ब्यूटीफुल बैलेंस ऑफ द नेचर, what we see the nature पावर ऑफ नेचर। ये मॉनसून पैटर्न्स को डिसाइड करता है हाउ द मॉनसून पैटर्न इज गोइंग टू बी अफेक्टेड इन द साउथ एंड साउथ ईस्ट एशिया। और इंडिया में आपको पता है स्टार्ट करते हैं साउथ टू नॉर्थ, जून से सितंबर तक बारिश का मौसम होता है। ओके, नॉर्मली कहीं कहीं थोड़ा केरला वगैरह में थोड़ा जल्दी स्टार्ट हो जाता है, बट इन जनरल जून से सितंबर तक ये मॉनसून रेन्स का सीजन होता है, एंड दैट इज गोइंग टू बी अफेक्टेड बिकॉज ऑफ दिस अल नीनो इवेंट। ट्रेड विंड्स ज्यादा ज्यादा आसानी से समझने के लिए अगर लेमैन भाषा में यूज करें तो समझिए कि आप गर्मी के मौसम में रूम के अंदर पंखे के नीचे बैठे हुए हैं, पंखा आपका फुल स्पीड पे चल रहा है, यू आर फीलिंग वेरी कंफर्टेबल, बट द मोमेंट लाइट करंट गोज ऑफ, ओके, पावर गोज ऑफ, या बहुत पंखा अचानक से स्लो हो जाए और ह्यूमिडिटी एंड रेस्ट थिंग्स आर रिमेनिंग सेम, सो व्हाट वी विल फील, वी स्टार्ट फीलिंग दैट गर्मी बढ़ रही है, अनकंफर्टेबल फील हो रहा है। सो दिस इज इन द लेमैन लैंग्वेज, दिस इज द easiest explanation how El Nino is affecting our environment. The basic definition, we all know that El Nino occurs when central and eastern Pacific Ocean surface temperature rises 0.5 डिग्री सेल्सियस। यहाँ पे देखिए हम अभी अल नीनो के बारे में बात कर रहे हैं सिर्फ, राइट, एंड व्हाट इज गोइंग टू अफेक्ट दिस ईयर इज सुपर अल नीनो, द साइंटिस्ट आर प्रेडिक्टिंग दैट। नॉर्मल अल नीनो में टेम्परेचर, जो समुद्र के सरफेस का टेम्परेचर होता है वो 0.5 डिग्री सेल्सियस तक बढ़ सकता है, और उसकी वजह से नॉर्मल सर्कुलेशन जो है विंड्स का वो अफेक्ट होता है, और उसके वजह से ग्लोबली वेदर पैटर्न जो है वो चेंज होता है। ट्रेड विंड्स कमजोर पड़ जाते हैं, वार्म वाटर जो है वो ईस्ट की तरफ स्प्रेड होने लगता है, जो कि नॉर्मली उसको एशिया ऑस्ट्रेलिया की तरफ बढ़ना चाहिए, एंड द मॉइस्चर जो एटमॉस्फेयर में होता है वो ब्रेक डाउन हो जाता है, और इसकी वजह से पूरा मॉनसून एशिया का कमजोर हो जाता है या शिफ्ट कर जाता है दूसरी जगह पे। नॉर्मली नॉर्मल अल नीनो की बात अभी हम कर रहे हैं। इट अकर्स एवरी 2 to 7 years एंड टिपिकली लास्ट 9 to 12 months। सो अगर मॉनसून सीजन के टाइम में आ गया तो बहुत मुश्किल है, और हर 2 साल से 7 साल में एक बार ये अल नीनो रिपीट होता है। इस नेम का ओरिजिन क्या है? नेम्ड डेराइव्ड बाय पेरुवियन फिशरमैन हु नोटिस्ड अनयूजुअल वार्म वाटर्स अराइविंग अराउंड क्रिसमस। क्रिसमस के टाइम में ये नया नया जब पता चला था इसके बारे में, तो उस समय ये अराइव हो रहा था अल नीनो। और अल नीनो का स्पेनिश भाषा में, इन द स्पेनिश इट्स नेम इज द लिटिल बॉय, छोटा बच्चा, द क्राइस्ट चाइल्ड इन स्पेनिश। A warm ocean anomaly with a gentle name and a fierce impact। नाम बहुत प्यारा है, बट इसके इम्पैक्ट्स जो हैं वो रियली बहुत ही। व्हाट इज सुपर अल नीनो एक्चुअली? अब अल नीनो से सुपर अल नीनो की तरफ थोड़ा बढ़ते हैं, जो इस बार का प्रिडिक्शन है। अल नीनो में 0.5 डिग्री टेम्परेचर सरफेस वाटर, ओशियन सरफेस वाटर का बढ़ रहा था। अब यहाँ पे सुपर अल नीनो में अकर्स व्हेन द पैसिफिक ओशियन टेम्परेचर राइजेस अबव 2 डिग्री सेल्सियस अबव द नॉर्मल, the 4 times the threshold for a regular El Nino। नॉर्मल अल नीनो में जो टेम्परेचर राइज हो रहा है उसका 4 गुना टेम्परेचर इस सुपर अल नीनो में राइज होने के चांसेस हैं। तो थिंक ऑफ दैट, यहाँ पे टेम्परेचर 4 गुना बढ़ रहा है, मतलब 10 का 40 हो रहा है, 20 का 80 हो रहा है, 25 का 100 हो रहा है। ठीक है, उस सिचुएशन में हमारे वेदर पे, हमारे क्लाइमेट पे जो छोटे में बहुत ज्यादा असर डाल रहा है, जब ये बड़ा हो जाएगा तो कितना असर डाल रहा है, डाल सकता है। सो नेचुरली दिस मे डिसरप्ट द वेदर, रेनफॉल एंड द एग्रीकल्चर सीवियरली। नॉर्मल कंडीशंस में जो ओशियन का टेम्परेचर है 0 डिग्री पे है अपना वो, और स्टेबल है, रेगुलर वेदर है, रेगुलर स्टेबल मानसून है। 0.5 डिग्री बढ़ा नॉर्मल अल नीनो में, रेगुलर अल नीनो में बिलो एवरेज मानसून, 60% मानसून जो बारिश है वो कम होने के चांसेस हो जाते हैं, और वेदर जो है ग्लोबली मॉडरेट डिसरप्शन में आता है। जब 2 डिग्री से ज्यादा आगे ये बढ़ जाता है तो सीवियर मानसून डिसरप्शन, ड्रॉट्स एंड एक्सट्रीम इवेंट्स। वर्ल्ड वाइड 15-16 में ये सुपर अल नीनो का इवेंट आया था, इसके बाद फिर अभी 24-26 में हमारे सामने 2026 में। क्लाइमेट मॉडल सो एन 82% चांसेस ऑफ अल नीनो फॉर्मिंग दिस ईयर। अभी तक हिट होने जा रहा है, फॉर्म हो रहा है, एंड चांसेस है कि ये अल नीनो सुपर अल नीनो में चेंज हो जाएगा। चांसेस आर वेरी हाई, अप टू 82%। साइंटिस्ट जो है ऑलरेडी क्लासिफाइंग दिस डेवलपिंग इवेंट एज ए पोटेंशियली सुपर इन स्केल। अल नीनो के साथ साथ एक ला नीना भी होता है। ये दोनों को मिला के जो नॉर्मल इफेक्ट होता है ओशियन का, उसको एनसो कहते हैं। जैसे अल नीनो के बारे में भी हम बात कर रहे थे, तो ये टेम्परेचर बढ़ने का फेज होता है, द वार्म फेज। पैसिफिक ओशियन वार्म्स, ट्रेड विंड्स वीकेन, एटमॉस्फेरिक सर्कुलेशन शिफ्ट्स फॉर इंडिया, डिसरप्टेड मॉनसून, ड्रॉट रिस्क, इंटेंस हीट वेव्स। अभी फॉर्म हो रहा है 26 में सुपर बन के ये आ सकता है, इंपैक्ट कर सकता है। ला नीना क्या होता है एक्चुअली? इसमें पैसिफिक ओशियन कूल्स डाउन, ट्रेड विंड्स स्ट्रेंथन, सर्कुलेशन पैटर्न रिवर्सेस, फॉर इंडिया ऑफन स्ट्रॉन्गर मॉनसून बट फ्लड रिस्क इन सम रीजन। जहां पे मॉनसून हमारा स्ट्रॉन्गर होता है तो डीआरआर वालों के लिए एक और भी बड़ा कंसर्न होता है कि इस साल जो है फ्लड ज्यादा आएंगी। फ्लड पता ही सबको कि कितना नुकसान करती है हमेशा। द साइकिल स्विंग्स एवरी फ्यू ईयर, जैसे अल नीनो का 2 से 7 साल में होता है, ला नीना का भी साइकिल होता है, ये भी रेगुलर पैटर्न है। सो ये दोनों अल नीनो और ला नीना मिलाकर टुगेदर दिस टू फेजेस फॉर्म एनसो, द अल नीनो सदर्न ओसिलेशन। दिस इज द अर्थ लार्जेस्ट नेचुरल क्लाइमेट ड्राइवर। क्लाइमेट चेंज इज नॉट क्रिएटिंग एनसो बट इट इज मेकिंग बोथ एक्सट्रीम्स मोर फ्रिक्वेंट एंड मोर इंटेंस। क्या हो रहा है कि एक तरफ से तो अल नीनो भी इंटेंस हो रहा है, फ्रीक्वेंट हो रहा है, दूसरी तरफ ला नीना भी जो है वो भी ज्यादा फ्रीक्वेंसी उसकी बढ़ रही है और वो भी इंटेंस हो रहा है। एंड लोडिंग द डाइस अगेंस्ट अस, चाहे तो टेम्परेचर जरूरत से ज्यादा बढ़ जाए, चाहे जरूरत से ज्यादा कम हो जाए, इन बोथ वेज द इंटायर वेदर, द इंटायर क्लाइमेट एंड फाइनली द ह्यूमन बीइंग्स लिविंग ऑन द अर्थ आर गोइंग टू बी अफेक्टेड। कैसे कैसे करते हैं इसको, क्या करेंगे? So the first thing what we can see that India's deep monsoon dependency. We all know that 70% annual rainfall जो है, India receives 70% of its total annual rainfall in just 4 months, June, July, August and September. 50% of farmland, अगर बारिश नहीं होती है, half of the India's cultivated area has no irrigation backup, entirely monsoon fed. 80% of share GDP, agriculture contributes to 80% of GDP and supports 60% of India's workforce directly or indirectly. So आप देखिए कि समुद्र के अंदर एक इवेंट हो रहा है, एक नेचुरल फेनोमेना आ रही है, और किस तरह से वो धरती पर आते आते, इंसानों की जिंदगी में आते आते, दे आर गोइंग टू इंटायरली अफेक्ट अस। फॉर द स्टेट्स लाइक उत्तर प्रदेश, बिहार का मैंने नाम पहले ही लिया था, इसके साथ साथ आप मध्य प्रदेश, हरियाणा, राजस्थान, द हार्ट ऑफ नॉर्थ इंडियाज ब्रेड बास्केट, जहां से खाना पूरे हिंदुस्तान को मिलता है। देयर इज ऑलमोस्ट नो सब्स्टिट्यूट फॉर हेल्दी मॉनसून। व्हेन रेन फेल्स, एवरीथिंग फ्रॉम दाल के प्राइसेस से हर दिन की मजदूरी, सब कुछ जुड़ा हुआ है एक साथ। खेतों में काम करने में कितना पैसा मिलना है, कितना अनाज उगना है, खाना घर तक कैसे पहुंचना है, सब कुछ एक दूसरे से जुड़ा हुआ है। सो प्राइसेस आर गोइंग टू सर्ज एंड वेजेस आर गोइंग टू बी डाउन। हाउ अल नीनो वीकेंस इंडियाज मॉनसून, इसको भी थोड़ा समझना जरूरी है, थोड़ा पीछे के पैटर्न में जाते हुए। द एटमॉस्फेयर में चेन रिएक्शन जो होता है, वार्म पैसिफिक वाटर हीट्स द ओवरलाइंग एटमॉस्फेयर, शिफ्टिंग pressure gradients that normally pull monsoon winds towards India. The moisture conveyor weakens, arrives late. Already हम लोग इसके बारे में बात कर चुके हैं, कैसे कैसे ये पूरा पैटर्न जो है किस तरह से लेस रेनफॉल मॉनसून को वीक कर देता है। In 60% of El Nino years since 1951, India has recorded below average monsoon rainfall. 15-16 का सुपर एल नीनो जो था, मॉनसून फेल टू जस्ट 86% ऑफ द लॉन्ग पीरियड एवरेज। जितना बारिश होता था उससे 86% कम हो गया था 15-16 में। 2009 ड्रॉट्स, अगर आपको याद है पीछे, रेनफॉल ड्रॉप टू 78.2% ऑफ द नॉर्मल, लोएस्ट इन 37 ईयर्स। एक ग्राफ भी आपके सामने है, कब कब अल नीनो ने इंडिया को हिट किया है और उसकी वजह से हमारे लॉन्ग पीरियड एवरेज रेनफॉल पे कितना परसेंटेज असर पड़ा है। इस बार का आईएमडी फोरकास्ट क्या कहता है? वार्निंग सिग्नल्स आर ऑलरेडी हियर। द इंडियन मेट्रोलॉजिकल डिपार्टमेंट अप्रैल 2026 फोरकास्ट पेंट्स ए सोबरिंग पिक्चर एंड द मॉनसून सीजन हैजंट इवन बिगन। अभी शुरुआत भी नहीं हुई है, बट प्रेडिक्शन है कि इस बार गोइंग टू बी ए वेरी डेफिशिएंट मानसून. 35% probability of a deficient season, more than double than the normal. 60% normally होता है, इस पर 35% है. Probability of above normal rainfall, the lowest optimistic scenario on record, 6%. Probability of El Nino forming, IMD is actively monitoring it for a super event. मोस्ट वल्नरेबल रीजन्स, इंडिया की बात करते हैं तो आपके सामने ग्राफ में यू कैन सी दैट राजस्थान, यूपी, बिहार, एमपी, महाराष्ट्र, कर्नाटका, दीज आर हाई रिस्क जोन्स. हरियाणा, गुजरात, छत्तीसगढ़ मॉडरेट रिस्क में आ रहे हैं, और नॉर्थ ईस्ट इंडिया, लद्दाख एंड केरला एंड सम पार्ट्स ऑफ साउथ इंडिया इज इन द लोअर रिस्क. मोस्ट वल्नरेबल रीजन्स ऑलरेडी वी डिस्कस्ड. May 2026 ऑलरेडी अलार्मिंग. हीट वेव जो चल रहे हैं पिछले महीने से, दे आर सेइंग दैट द हार्टलैंड, नॉर्थ इंडिया हार्टलैंड इज गोइंग टू पास द 2-3 डिग्री अबव नॉर्मल टेम्परेचर जो वहां पे होता है. दिस इज बिफोर पीक समर, दिस इज बिफोर द मॉनसून टेस्ट अराइव्स. Impact on Indian agriculture. Now coming to towards after understanding the science and its impact in general, how it's going to affect our day-to-day life. Lower yields, weaker monsoon का मतलब ही है कि अगर खेती में जो पैदावार हो रही है, that is going to be weakened. And क्यों हो गया ऐसा? सोइल का मॉइस्चर रिड्यूस हो जाता है, मच हायर इरिगेशन डिमांड, इरिगेशन की सिंचाई की डिमांड बढ़ जाती है. मोस्ट स्मॉल फार्मर्स कैन नॉट अफोर्ड द गैप. ज़्यादातर हमारे नॉर्थ इंडिया में छोटे छोटे किसान ही है, अभी फार्मलैंड और एग्रीकल्चर फार्मिंग की व्यवस्था हमारे यहाँ नहीं है. तो सो स्मॉल फार्मर्स के लिए, छोटे किसानों के लिए बहुत मुश्किल हो जाता है कि कैसे मानसून अगर वीक हो गया, अगर भगवान पानी नहीं दे रहे हैं तो कैसे इंतजाम करना है. डायरेक्टली अफेक्ट होता है उनके पैदावार पे इसका. लोअर क्रॉप मीन्स अगर पैदावार ही कम हो गई तो निश्चित रूप से प्राइसेस राइज होती हैं, फूड शॉर्टेज होता है, एक्सपोर्ट्स बैन हो जाता है. अर्बन एरिया में और डेली वेज अर्नर्स जो हैं उनके ऊपर इसका डायरेक्ट इम्पैक्ट पड़ता है. रूरल डिस्ट्रेस, इनकम लॉस ड्राइव्स रिवर्स माइग्रेशन फ्रॉम विलेज टू सिटीज. अगेन माइग्रेशन इज वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. अगर रूरल एरियाज हमारे डिस्ट्रेस में होंगे तो अर्बन के ऊपर प्रेशर बढ़ता है, लोग माइग्रेशन शुरू कर देते हैं, स्ट्रेनिंग अर्बन इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर एंड डीपनिंग इनइक्वालिटी. खरीफ क्रॉप्स जो कि मॉनसून सीजन के टाइम में ही होता है, उसमें दालें भी हैं, राइस हैं, ऑयल सीड्स हैं, कॉटन, शुगर केन, दिस ऑल आर गोइंग टू बी अफेक्टेड. Crop impact across North India, rice, already we talked, UP, Bihar, Haryana. Even 2 week daily cuts अगर होता है मानसून रेन में, 2 week डिले होता है. अगर 2 week भी डिले हो जाता है तो 15 से 20% पैदावार गिर जाती है. वीट डिप्लेटेड रिजर्वोयर्स फ्रॉम पुअर मानसून टू रिड्यूस्ड विंटर इरिगेशन वाटर. वीट प्रोडक्टिविटी इन पंजाब, हरियाणा फॉल्स above even in the following season. Pulses, sowing areas shrink sharply in El Nino years as farmers take less risk. Dal prices spike, affecting every Indian household's daily thali. हर दिन की थाली अफेक्ट हो सकती है इससे. Adaptations in progress, a lot of areas in India, the farming innovations are going on. Forward thinking farmers are already shifting to drought resistant varieties. Millets पे लोग शिफ्ट कर रहे हैं, चना पे शिफ्ट कर रहे हैं, शॉर्टर ड्यूरेशन पे पेडी भी होता है जो जिसमें पानी कम चाहिए. बट ये जो शिफ्टिंग है, इनोवेशन है, ये बहुत लिमिटेड है अभी एक्चुअली. Impact on India's water resources. Water resources, rivers run shallow. Weak monsoon doesn't just reduce rainfall, it triggers a cascading water crisis that lasts years beyond the dry season itself. एक बार जमीन के अंदर का भी पानी कम हो गया, रिवर का पानी कम हो गया, रिजर्वायर्स खाली हो गए, तो बड़ा मुश्किल हो जाता है. पीने का पानी भी एरियाज में पहुंचाना जहाँ पे पानी की कमी है बहुत मुश्किल हो जाती है. द यमुना, घाघरा, बेतवा, चंबल, नॉर्थ इंडियन लाइफलाइन डिपेंड ओवरवेलमिंगली ऑन मानसून रिचार्ज. लो रेन फॉल्स मीन्स shallow flaws by October and dry stretches by March. सिमिलरली आप सोच सकते हैं मोबाइल की बैटरी ड्राई होती है, आपको पावर चाहिए होता है रिचार्ज चार्ज करने के लिए, उसके बिना मोबाइल यूजलेस। द सेम वे जो नदियां हैं, रिजर्वॉयर्स हैं, जो वाटर का जो हमारा सिस्टम है, उसको अगर मॉनसून रिचार्ज नहीं करता है तो वो डिप्लीट ही होगा निश्चित रूप से, फिर यूज करना मुश्किल हो जाएगा उसमें। India's major reservoirs dropped to critical levels. The 2009 drought brought rainfall to just 78.2% of normal, the lowest in 37 years, leaving millions without reliable drinking water through summer 2010. नौ में जो आया था आपका सुपर अल नीनो, उसके बाद 1 साल बाद तक वाटर का प्रॉब्लम हो रहा था। Water bankruptcy risk, desperate over extraction during droughts can push aquifers beyond recovery. Several North Indian districts are already at stage 3 groundwater stress, the point of near irreversibility. बहुत सारे इंडियन डिस्ट्रिक्ट्स हैं, सिटीज हैं, जहां पे ग्राउंड वाटर हमारा ऑलरेडी इतना डिप्लीट हो गया है कि उसको ठीक करना मुश्किल है, बट ये सुपर अल नीनो उसको और भी बदतर हालात तक पहुंचा सकता है। What worries us the most about a weak monsoon? I would like to take a little pause here so that I can go ahead with a poll with my audience. Very limited audience is here, so I'm expecting that सब लोग आंसर करें। आप एक मिनट लीजिए, और क्वेश्चन बहुत सिंपल सा है कि आप अपने लेवल पे अगर एक कमजोर मॉनसून आ रहा है तो सबसे ज्यादा चिंता का विषय आपके लिए क्या है? ऑप्शन ए है क्रॉप फेलियर, फूड शॉर्टेज। ऑप्शन बी है ड्रिंकिंग वाटर शॉर्टेज इन विलेज एंड सिटीज। ऑप्शन 3 है फूड के प्राइसेस बढ़ जाएंगे, हाउस होल्ड का बजट जो है, हर घर का जो बजट होता है उस पर इंपैक्ट हो सकता है। ऑप्शन डी अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट एंड डिस्ट्रेस माइग्रेशन फ्रॉम विलेज। सो देयर इज नो रॉन्ग आंसर हियर, बट व्हाट वरीज यू द मोस्ट? ओके, सो जस्ट गो विद द आंसर्स, ऑप्शन ए, ऑप्शन बी, ऑप्शन सी। ओके, ड्रिंकिंग वाटर, सुदीक्षा, नीतीश जी, ऑप्शन ए, गोइंग विद ऑप्शन ए। ओके, who else? Ranjan Kumar is going with option A. Okay, crop failure, right? Sailendra Rai, option A, good. Bose Babu, option B, great. Option A. Okay, Jasvi Joshi, option B, great. So, great answers. Okay, what worries you the most? Of course, these are the individual choices. But you know what? All these things are interconnected, you know. All these things are interconnected. Let me share my screen. One thing will be leading to the other thing. It's not like that if we are just going ahead with the option 1 or option B. Of course, the system, the situation in which we are living, that will be impacting our thoughts. But the crop failure is related with the food shortage. Food shortage is related with the rising food prices. Rising food prices again with the budgets and distress migration, unemployment. Okay, so distress migration, when the rural area will be forcing people to come to the urban area, distress migration is there. And when the too much migration is there, jobs are limited, then unemployment will be generated. So a lot of things are there. So all the answers are right. But for me, what I think, if drinking water shortage is too much, then खाना खाए बिना तो 2-3 दिन रह सकते हैं, पानी नहीं मिले तो फिर क्या होगा? मुझे प्यास वैसे ज्यादा लगती है, इसलिए मे बी दैट इज द रीजन। एनीवे, सो now coming to the point, what are the health impacts of El Nino in these El Nino years? North India, we all know that this is the core heat wave zone. Delhi, UP, Rajasthan, Bihar and MP face the highest frequency of extreme heat events during El Nino years, sometimes for weeks without relief. क्या क्या होता है? पिछली बार हमने हीट स्ट्रोक पे, हीट वेव पे एक टॉक्स किए थे, उसमें बहुत डिटेल्स में बात की थी। बट नॉर्मली क्या होता है, रातें बहुत गर्म हो जाती हैं, रात में पावर कट होने लगता है, फिर आपके बॉडी को कूल डाउन नहीं मिलता है, दिन में आप वैसे ही काम नहीं कर सकते. सो देयर आर मल्टीपल रीजंस. डायरेक्ट हेल्थ इंपैक्ट हो सकता है, आपका फिजिकल हेल्थ इंपैक्टेड हो सकता है, आपका मेंटल हेल्थ इंपैक्टेड हो सकता है, आपका वर्क फोर्स इंपैक्टेड हो सकता है, आपको कार्डियोवैस्कुलर स्ट्रेस हो सकता है. बच्चों में आप देख रहे हैं ना ये सारा कुछ कैसे रिलेटेड है. वाटर स्कार्सिटी, फूड स्कार्सिटी, लो यील्ड. सो अगर खाना नहीं मिल रहा है, न्यूट्रिशन नहीं मिल रहा है, तो बच्चों को माल न्यूट्रिशन हो सकता है. हीट स्ट्रोक एंड डिहाइड्रेशन इज वेरी कॉमन वेन एवर वी आर गोइंग आउट इन द डायरेक्ट सन फॉर वर्क. तो पानी पीने का खास ध्यान रखें. Here, the teachers and ASA workers have a very, very important role to play. They are the first line of the heat wave response. Know your warning signs, know your schooling protocols, and know which families are most vulnerable and how to help them. इकोनॉमिक रिपल इफेक्ट्स फ्रॉम फार्म टू जीडीपी, हमने ऑलरेडी इसके बारे में बात की ही है. वीक मॉनसून, फूड इन्फ्लेशन, crop failure, after that food inflation, and rural income drops. Agriculture contributes 78% of India's 18% of India's GDP directly, but its multiplier effect on the rural economy is far larger. When the farm incomes fall, the entire supply chain from the seeds to the urea, to the fertilizers, to the tractors, to the local subcontractors, everything is affected. And a poor monsoon is not just an agricultural event, it's a national economic stress test. अगर पहले से तैयारी नहीं होगी तो हर लेवल पे प्रॉब्लम आएगी. एंड दैट इज व्हाई इट्स वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट फॉर गवर्नमेंट ऑफिशियल्स in their capacity that they should create proactive buffer stock management, strategic imports, and advanced procurement that are significantly cheaper when the real emergency is in front of us and we are doing the response to cover the crisis. केस स्टडी 15-16 में जो सुपर अल नीनो की बात हम कर रहे थे, व्हाट हैपेंड, इंडियाज मॉनसून फेल टू 86% ऑफ द लॉन्ग पीरियड एवरेज. Drought like condition across 11 states of India. Out of 36 states of India, 36 states and union territories, 11 states of the country were facing the drought like situation. Globally, 60 million people affected by hunger, displacement, and economic losses. Reservoir level falls to 60% of its capacity by September. Water rationing followed. What lessons we learned in 15-16? Actually, IMD early warning worked for us. Crop diversification pilot programs were successful. After that, we learned that if the monsoon is less and we are not going to rice cultivation, what will be the alternative? So that started from there, and water efficient irrigation trials also started. What failed? Reactive government planning actually failed. Although warnings were there, early warnings by IMD, but the states waited for formal drought declaration before mobilizing resources. So whenever there is a warning, why warning is there in DRR? Warning is always to strengthen the response. And if there is no strengthening the response, if there is no preparedness, then what is the meaning of the warning? Why warning is being given? So states should be very, very all the states which are going to feel this impact, they should be well prepared in advance following the IMD warnings that how the stocking has to be done, how the planning has to be done. Preparation before the monsoon, not after the crisis. This will save lives and livelihood, and we have that window now. अभी नहीं करेंगे तो फिर मुश्किल है. North India unique and compounding vulnerabilities, farming exposure, the Indo-Gangetic plains, UP, Bihar, Rajasthan, MP, all these are most densely populated, most monsoon dependent agricultural zone in India. Margins are thin and safety rates are thin. Groundwater crisis, groundwater levels in many North Indian districts are already critically low. Years of over extraction mean El Nino years push communities over the edge. Social vulnerabilities, of course, the most vulnerable groups of the society, either it's women, children, or daily wage earners, or senior citizens, or agricultural workers, they will be facing the highest exposure and the least access to the insurance, credit, or alternative income, the most vulnerable within the most vulnerable zone. What role we can play? Every citizen of this country has a role to play in the climate resilience. The teachers, they should integrate climate literacy into daily lessons, run schools heat safety drills, teach water conservation as a practical, measurable activity, not just as a chapter. पढ़ाइयाँ कर लेते हैं हम लोग, बट प्रैक्टिकल करना भूल जाते हैं, ये सबसे मुश्किल होती है. Someone very naughty is here. He is writing on the scratching on the screen. I don't know who it is. NGO workers lead drought preparedness workshops, support women's self-help groups in building water security plan, run information, education, and communication campaigns before the crisis arrives. Government officials, of course, the crop contingency plan, coordinate early warning dissemination to the last mile, manage water logistics proactively, not reactively. Students, like, be climate ambassadors, take messages home to families, plant trees, change yourself to reduce water use by 20 liters a day this monsoon season. कर सकते हैं, बहुत आसानी से कर सकते हैं. Sometime we will do a talk on how to conserve water, and we will see that every person in our day-to-day life, how we can conserve water in a most efficient manner. Local actions, it's already happening. Like I told, 15-16 has given us something in front of us, the drought-like situation in all over the country. And Nasik, Maharashtra, in IIT Bombay in Maharashtra, actually the crop weather advisory helped grape farmers reduce water use by 10 to 30% through प्रेसीजन इरिगेशन टाइमिंग. कब करना है, एग्जैक्टली कितना करना है, उससे 10 to 30% वाटर की कमी हुई है जो अंगूरों की खेती होती थी. Similarly, Wayanad, Kerala में Hume Center for Ecology delivers 5-kilometer hyper-local forecast. Farmers use them to time transplanting to the exact week, saving crops and waters. जब एक certain area के लिए एक particular forecasting will have what is the best time to sowing the seeds and what is the best time to irrigate them. So that is beneficial for both things. On the one hand, how the crops will be more fruitful, resultful oriented, and how the water will be conserved. रूरल राजस्थान में भी जोहार रिवाइवल, रिस्टोरिंग ट्रेडिशनल स्टेप वेल्स, जो सूखे जितने कुएं थे सारे के सारे सूख गए थे, बट ड्रामेटिकली इम्प्रूव्ड आफ्टर ड्रॉट रेजिलियंस इन कम्युनिटीज दैट हैड नो अल्टरनेटिव वाटर सोर्स. और वो एक्चुअली वो जुहाड़ ही होता था उनका जो पीने के लिए पानी था, 10-10 किलोमीटर के आसपास में, और कुछ होता ही नहीं है वहाँ पे. एंड कम्युनिटी ने एक क्लाइमेट रेजिलियंट प्रोग्राम के तहत जितने सूखे कुएं थे मैक्सिमम में फिर से वो उसको ड्रिंकिंग वाटर अवेलेबल कर लिया. सो दीज ऑल थिंग्स आर गोइंग राइट हियर इन आवर कंट्री. If this is possible in Nasik, Wayanad, or Rajasthan, it can happen in Gorakhpur, Agra, Lucknow, and Patna too. That's very easy. A dangerous connection between El Nino and climate change is human emissions are loading the dice. Now, क्या ये सवाल ये है कि जो हो रहा है ये क्या सिर्फ नेचुरल फेनोमेना है, या कहीं ना कहीं as human beings we are the contributors towards this entire thing? So the answer what scientists are saying is very cool. Natural ENSO cycles have existed for millennia. शुरू से था, ऐसा नहीं कि कोई नया फेनोमेना है, बट ह्यूमन ग्रीन हाउस गैस एमिशन आर नाउ मेकिंग एल नीनो इवेंट्स स्ट्रॉन्गर. ग्रीन हाउस गैस एमिशन, कार, एसी, फ्रिज, a lot of things, मतलब आपका कार्बन फुटप्रिंट है जो वो डिसाइड करता है. एवरी इंडिविजुअल ऑन दिस अर्थ डिसाइड्स हाउ ग्रीन हाउस गैस एमिशंस आर डायरेक्टली रिलेटेड विथ ह्यूमन एक्टिविटीज. दिस इज नो लॉन्गर ए स्पेकुलेशन, इट इज ए मेजर्ड साइंस. कहाँ से सीरो रिसर्च ग्रुप जो है उसने बोला स्ट्रॉन्ग एनसो इवेंट्स हैव बिकम सिग्निफिकेंटली मोर कॉमन सिंस 1960। इंडस्ट्रियल रेवोल्यूशन और उसके बाद से जो ह्यूमन एक्टिविटीज, जो टेक्नोलॉजी जो बढ़ी, जिस तरह से इंसानों ने अपने आसानी के लिए, अपने आराम के लिए उनको यूज करना शुरू किया, ग्रीन हाउस गैसेस का एमिशन बढ़ गया उससे बहुत ज्यादा। यूनिवर्सिटी ऑफ इंसबर्ग बोल रहे क्लियर फिंगरप्रिंट्स ऑफ ह्यूमन कॉस्ट क्लाइमेट चेंज फाउंड इन एनसो डाटा फ्रॉम 1970 ऑनवर्ड्स। 2026 फाइंडिंग पैसिफिक ओशियन वार्मिंग सो रैपिड दैट साइंटिस्ट डेवलपिंग एन इंटायरली न्यू इंडेक्स, द रोनी इंडेक्स, रैपिड ओशियन नीनो इंडेक्स, जस्ट टू मेजर इट। समझिए कि इस पूरे क्लाइमेटिक इवेंट में ह्यूमंस का रोल इतना स्ट्रांग है दैट नाउ वी हैव टू स्टडी total closely that how this can be reversed, otherwise it's going to be out of control in coming years. War sides, एक side मतलब war is another problem, climate is another problem, and knowingly or unknowingly we are just contributing towards destroying our climate. We are living inside climate change, not watching it, and it's a fact that the earth is sending urgent signals. What signals will be sent back? This is the World Environment Day question. The 2023-24 El Nino was one of the strongest on record. Okay, for the first time in human history, global average temperature reached 1.5 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial levels, the very threshold the Paris Agreement was designed to avoid. Even if we meet every Paris goal today, the ocean heat already stored will drive more frequent El Nino events for another century. Decades की बात नहीं कर रहे हैं, ऑलरेडी हमने इतना कुछ कर दिया है। Climate change is not a future threat that policy will prevent. It is a present reality that adaptation and resilience must address, starting this monsoon season, this day, today. Otherwise, simply think that कालिदास बन गए हैं हम सारे के सारे, जिस डाल पे बैठे हैं उसी को काट रहे हैं। So, what should be the preparedness action plans? Strengthen early warning. Of course, IMD, Agromet advisory reach farmers and communities at the last mile through SMS, Kisan call centers, and local radio. They are also monitoring the Indian Ocean dipole. A positive IOD may partially offset El Nino impact on India's monsoon. Water efficient irrigation is the need of the hour. Since most of the India's irrigation and farming is dependent on the monsoon, the drip and in sprinkler system can save 30 to 50% of water versus ground irrigation with no reduction in the yield. Government subsidies are available. Connect farmers to the schemes now. Shift to resilient crops. Promote finger millets, horse gram, shorter duration paddy varieties that requires 30 to 40% less water and mature before the critical dry period hits on the ground. Community water storage, rainwater harvesting, pond restoration, and Johar revival are proven. These all innovations have been proved beneficial on the ground. Low cost solutions, these are low cost solutions as well. Every village can implement at least one before this month, June 15. Long-term climate resilience building for the future. Reduce emission, choose clean energy, reduce waste, plant trees. Every action at every scale contribute to slowing the warming that makes El Nino worse. जो भी काम करेंगे, चाहे कपड़े भी वॉशिंग मशीन में धोते हैं तो बजाय 2 कपड़े धोने के वॉशिंग मशीन फुल करके एक ही बार में ज्यादा कपड़े धोएंगे तो बिजली भी बचेगी, बजट भी बचेगा, और कहीं ना कहीं एक कंट्रीब्यूशन होता है कि क्लाइमेट चेंज में हम अपनी तरफ से जो सहभागिता हो सकती है वो कर रहे हैं। रेस्टोरेशन एंड ग्रीन इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर, पेड़ लगाना, हमारे प्रधानमंत्री जी भी कहते हैं कि एक पेड़ माँ के नाम। अपने जन्मदिन पे या किसी भी स्पेशल डे कहीं भी एक पौधा लगाएं, कहीं भी एक पेड़ लगाएं। These are the things how we are going to conserve the environment and climate. Climate resilient farming, soil health management, organic inputs, and agroforestry builds farms that with understand both drought and flood without depending on monsoon perfection. Diversify rural livelihood, livestock, artisan work, rural enterprise give farm families income buffer that crop when crop fails, reducing the human cost of every bad monsoon year. Small actions, large impact. What we can do right now. Teachers teach water conservation as a hands-on classroom activity this week. Make it measurable. Have students track their household water use for 7 days. Tell them the ideas how we can do the best conservation techniques. NGO workers organize a community heat wave preparedness meeting before June 15. Take a place, do it. Identify the 10 most vulnerable household in your area. Make a contact list now. Officials, IMD's 5 days agromet advisory with farmers in your district today. Activate crop contingency plans. Don't wait for a formal drought declaration. Students, the ambassadors of climate change, change yourself, reduce daily water use by 20 liters, and plant one tree this monsoon. Follow IMD weather and NDMA India for real time alerts. What will you do this monsoon? So, this is the questions in front of all of us. This is our moment now. Write our commitment in a chat on a sticky note. Keep it somewhere inside our house and see when can we do that, how fast we can do that. Simple examples. I'll conduct a drought awareness session with my students before the monsoon begins. I will install a rainwater harvesting tank at our NGO office this month. I'll share an IMD weather application link with 10 farmers in my area of my village this week. These are the things we can do. And that is how we can contribute our takes. Three key takeaways. Super El Nino 2026 is a real and immediate threat. We can't escape it. India monsoon forecast is already below normal with an 82% probability of El Nino forming and scientists flagging the potentially super event. This is not a hypothetical risk. It is happening now and the window to prepare is almost closing. North India faces direct severe impact, weaker monsoon, more intense and prolonged heat waves, crop failures across key kharif crops and accelerating groundwater depletion. The Indo-Gangetic Plains with its dense population and thin safety nets is at risk, actual epicenter of the risk. Individual and community action matters. Starting today, adaptation is not a government program only waiting to be launched. It is a teacher running. It is a teacher running a water conservation lesson, a farmer switching to finger millet, an official sharing an IMD advisory. All things. This is the preparation. Preparation today saves lives, livelihoods tomorrow. Resources, you can see IMD, India Water Portal, ENSO updates, Down to Earth magazine, UN EP, World Environment Day, Kisan call centers. So these things we have to disseminate to community. Thank you very much. And this is what I had to share with all of you for this on this Environment Day from my side. Super El Nino is a reality and we are going to face it. The poorest of the poor of the country are going to be the hardest hit. What can we do our best as our contribution, as our token? We should do it now. Thank you very much. Open for the questions.
Right. Thank you, Dr. Raka, for the talk. And can we take questions together at the end of the session?
Sure. I don't have
So, a
any.
request to the participants to post their questions in the chat box. We'll take all the questions together at the end. And now, without further ado, let me call upon the next speaker, Dr. Shailendra Rai. Before I invite him to take over, let me give a brief introduction. He is a social scientist specializing in migration, climate change, and DRR. He recently completed his PhD in social sciences from Finland as a Marie Skoldova Curie Fellow under the European Union's Horizon 2020 program. Dr. Rai brings a unique combination of academic and policy expertise, having worked with institutions such as the Natural Resources Institute Finland and Labasna and many government agencies across India and Myanmar. His work bridges research, policy, and practice with a strong emphasis on developing inclusive and sustainable solutions to contemporary social and environmental changes. A very warm welcome to you, Dr. Shailendra, and over to you.
Thank you, Dolphy, and thanks to Raka sir for this very enriching presentation. So, can you see my slide? Is it visible?
We can
Yes,
see you.
yes.
Now it says loading. So,
Yes, it's here.
yes, it's visible.
Okay, so good morning, good afternoon, everyone, and I would like to thank the organizer, Raka sir, and everyone for having this webinar on this important topic on El Nino. And you have just seen a detailed explanation of what El Nino is and how it affects India. And thanks to Raka sir for this thoughtful perspective he just shared. And now I will take this a bit further in mentioning or in discussing how El Nino interact with our system. Because in reality, El Nino is not just a climatic event, it's a risk multiplier. So let's see how it goes. So in the previous session, Raka sir discussed on monsoon, agriculture, water and economy, which was very important. But we know something else is a little bit more important. The same climatic event does not affect all region or people equally. So the question is, why does a weak monsoon become manageable in one place but a crisis in another? So one of the answer lies not just in rainfall but in systems, in vulnerabilities and in governance. To understand this, we must rethink risk. So risk is not just about hazard. It's a combination of three elements. Hazard. So hazard is, in simple term, is something which has the potential to cause harm. And when it becomes a disaster, when in this hazard, people and systems are exposed. If nobody is exposed there, then it doesn't become a disaster. Hazard itself is a hazard. And when it gets multiplied by the vulnerability of these systems, it becomes a disaster. So El Nino is actually a trigger that makes the disaster happen. And this disaster happens only when it meets the vulnerable systems. For example, let me take an example. A farmer with a irrigation may still manage during a weak monsoon, which Raka sir has also touched upon. But a rain-fed farmer facing the same conditions may face complete crop failure. So the difference is not the climate, it is the system. Now briefly let us recall the nature of El Nino. Raka sir has beautifully explained El Nino and La Nino. So at its core, El Nino is a coupled ocean atmospheric system. So if there is a small change in sea surface temperature, it can reorganize the weather pattern globally. So this small change tells us something important. This climatic process, or I can say this complex climate process, leads to complex societal system. And this is what is the idea of risk cascade. So in this, just a second. So let us follow this risk cascade step by step. So for example, it begins with a change in rainfall. So rainfall can be weak, delayed, or it can be an uneven monsoon. For example, what we are saying that long period average will be 90%. That's what IMD forecasted this year. So this uneven rainfall will lead to water stress. such as groundwater reservoir and soil moisture decline, which will further lead to agriculture impact, such as crop failure or reduced yield, which will further lead to income shock, especially for farming household, and which will finally increase the price of the household, food prices, and eventually we will see migration, health impact, and societal stress. So, what begins as an oceanic disturbance becomes a human crisis. And most importantly, today, especially in recent years, the issue is not just weak rainfall, it is about erratic rainfall. So, right now, we calculate the average of a season, it will not show us very important detail. Unless and otherwise, we will see the daily rainfall and the extremes during that season, because this erratic rainfall sometimes lead to flash floods. To understand why this becomes such a serious problem in India, let me briefly add some key fact which Raka sir has also discussed in detail, but let me just touch upon it. Around 52% of India's agriculture is rain fed, and nearly 86% of farmers are small and marginal farmers. This means a very large population depend directly on monsoon rainfall for livelihoods. And even a small variation in rainfall can therefore lead to major livelihood impacts. So the system is already highly sensitive to climate variability. And this is not just theoretical. We have already seen this pattern before, like Raka sir has mentioned, in 2015 and 16 El Nino, which was strongest in recent decades, and which also led to crop losses, declining farm income, and rural distress in multiple states. So, what is important here is not just the event itself, but how clearly it shows the cascade from climate to economy to society. So, which started as an oceanic event turns to our economy and turns to a societal system. So the risks are we discussing, which we are discussing today, are already visible in reality. Now, the next question is who is most affected in society? Risk is not evenly distributed across geography and will never be. And that's, I think, we all know very well. And regions like the Indo-Gangetic Plain are highly exposed due to population density and dependence on agriculture. Even central India faces, where I am right now, where my home is, recurring water stress. But the vulnerability is also social. For example, not everyone is affected in the same way, even during the water stress. Small farmer, migrant worker, and vulnerable household like poor people have fewer resources and safety net to overcome those crises. And this is important. And that's why I would like to say that vulnerability is not natural, it is shaped by development patterns and inequality. Now, let us move to a more complex dimension of risk, that is, compounding risk. Today, I think communities do not experience one hazard at a time. Nobody experiences one hazard at a time. It becomes a disaster or not, that's a different thing. So, for example, people experience heat wave, drought, economic stress simultaneously. So, in this, heat lead to reduction in productivity, drought reduces agricultural output, and together they reduce income and increase vulnerability. At the same time, health risk increase through dehydration, malnutrition, and heat stress. And these risks interact and amplify each other. And that is why El Nino event today feel more disruptive than before, because they interact with already stressed system. Because our system is so much stressed already that another El Nino event is a pressure on that already stressed system, which is a far more harmful impact on the societal level. Now, to deal with this, we have to talk about governance also, because India has a strong forecasting system, and we can predict rainfall or seasonal rainfall patterns reasonably well. I think IMD forecast has also changed quite a lot in Kerala. Earlier it was 26th of May, then it became 29th, then it became, I think, 2nd June. Now, on 4th June, yesterday, I think, the Kerala monsoon landed. But the forecasts do not always translate into action. There are gaps in communication, coordination, and local capacity. And importantly, sometimes when forecasts themselves are uncertain, decision making becomes more difficult. And these strong El Nino events are not just climatic, they act as a stress over the governance system. So, if we talk about resilience, it doesn't depend only on science, but also on institution and governance system. And recently, Kamal Kishore, I think Dr. Kamal Kishore, who also work a lot on DRR, has in a recent policy discussion, he also said that a stronger El Nino event acts as a stress test on governance, and they reveal how prepared or unprepared our disaster governance system really are. They reveal whether institution can respond effectively, whether coordination works, and whether vulnerable population are protected. So now let us add one more layer here: climate change. Now, climate change is not just intensifying El Nino. We all know, as per the IPCC, sea surface temperature is increasing. There is a prediction of increase in temperature, and it is. But the reason is it is more serious. The climate change making things more unpredictable. We are seeing shorter and more intense rainfall events combined with longer dry spells. So even when seasonal rainfall appear normal, there may still be extreme conditions within that season. This makes planning more complex and uncertain. So nowadays, the average will not show us the true picture of that season unless and until we look at a more micro level or detail level, the daily and the extreme rainfall patterns within that season. Now let us discuss in a warming world today what is happening. So in today's world, mostly because all of us have this early warning systems and early signals of the monsoon, but these early signals of the monsoon suggest increasing variability in onset and spread. For example, the Kerala prediction, but the regional difference have become more significant. So the key issue today is not just how much rain we will receive, but how predictable that rain is. So how much rain, because if we receive the same amount of rain in an erratic form, for example, in some day it will rain very heavily, which may lead to flash flood, but the amount of rain and it is not evenly distributed, and we can't predict that. That's a area of concern, because we are moving from a system defined by rainfall deficit to one defined by variability and uncertainty. Earlier, planning focused on drought conditions. Today, planning must deal with fluctuating, uneven, and extreme rainfall patterns. So, the nature of risk itself is changing, and this creates a new challenge for governance. Because farmer should know, because nowadays what is happening, farmers are struggling to decide when to sow crops. Authorities must plan under uncertainty, and traditional systems designed for predictable pattern are no longer sufficient. So what do we need? We need flexible, adapted, and learning-based system. Now, because if we are talking about governance, then we have to look also the resilience pathways. So what does resilience look like in this context? Now, resilience is not just about responding to crisis. It is about reducing vulnerability before crisis occur. So it is about, before it becomes a disaster, resilience should be built up. Now, how it will be done? So, like in a previous session, Rakas had mentioned strengthening water systems, supporting vulnerable population. But here I would also like to mention nature-based solutions. Because nature-based solution or ecosystem-based approach are nowadays taking are in the hot topic, not only in this domain, because in my own research I have explored how nature can act as a social and ecological buffer, supporting well-being and inclusion, especially for vulnerable population. So resilience is not only environmental, it is also societal and institutional. And this brings me to the final message that El Nino is not just a test of climate science, it is a test of our system, because El Nino does not create disasters, it reveals the vulnerability already present in our system. And in that sense, every El Nino, especially stronger one, which we are seeing now, like Raka sir has also mentioned that there are predictions that can be a, um, it can be a stronger one. So it is not just a climatic event, but a test of our disaster risk governance as well, because this event may sometimes turns into a higher risk. So the real question is not when El Nino will occur. The real question is how prepared are we when it does. And El Nino is a natural climatic phenomena. We all know we cannot stop it. But whether it becomes a drought, a crisis, or a disaster depends on our system. So that's it. And thank you so much for your patience listening. And I will hand over to Dolphy. Thank you. Dolphy, are you there?
Yes, sir. Yes. So thank you so much for this presentation. And let's move on to our questions and answers session. Requesting all the participants to kindly post their questions in the chat box if they have any. We can wait for a minute or two. Dr. Aka, you are here to take the questions?
Yes, I'm ready to take the questions. And meanwhile, I'll also say that some of the senior members are here. Nishit ji, Sahin bhai, Milind sir, and Rajni ma'am is also here. So if they want to say a few words, we can invite them.
Yes. So the floor is open to any of the senior collaborators to say a few words if they wish so.
So since it's a very small group, so you can unmute yourself and you can directly ask the questions also. Go ahead, audience. Anyone having any question, any doubts, any clarity? So, Rajni ma'am, you want to speak something about it? Yes, there is
So
a
there is
question.
a question.
I
Yes.
can see a
So
question from Kavya that how La Nina affects us. Like El Nino, we talked a lot about, but what about La Nina? So, Salinder, would you like to take this question?
Yes, I can.
Yes, please go ahead, and after that, I'll add to it.
So, if I take in a simple sense, like how La Nina affects us, so it's again a climatic phenomena where it about cooling of Pacific Ocean water. So it is mostly about more rainfall, stronger monsoon, normal and above normal rainfall during La Nina years. Winters tend to be more colder, especially in northern India. Summer may feel slightly less extreme compared to El Nino years. Impact on agriculture will be, help crops like rice, paddy cultivation, good monsoon. Sometimes it causes waterlogging also, and can also damage crops. There are also higher chances of flood in some regions and cyclone in the Indian Oceans. And generally, in a global perspective, if I would say, it may increase chance of higher chances of storm and hurricanes in other parts of the globe. Yes, sir,
Well, that's a very perfect explanation. Actually, like I in my talks, like I compared this El Nino event like a fan running on the speed of 5, and all of a sudden, because of power cutoff, electricity failure, the fan is stopped, then we start feeling uncomfortable. The same way, think that you are sitting in an air conditioned room. I'm sorry that we are talking about climate change, but I'm giving this explanation, but just for the understanding I'm explaining that. And if the temperature, your temperature is on 24, 25, then you are feeling comfortable. But if you go on the 15 or 16 or 17 temperature, then all of a sudden you start feeling uncomfortable because cold is so strong. So in layman version, this is the thing, but rightly Salinder explained that. See, the concern of DRR is always what we are going to face, how much we are prepared, and how we are going to respond. So La Nina is actually in India, in our country, in two, three ways. It's directly related with the DRR, and of course, floods is the first thing. The stronger the La Nina, the stronger the flood situation will be in the northern India. And in southern part of the country, there are chances of much, much more stronger hurricanes. And we don't say hurricanes, we say cyclones. Storms and cyclones will be there. And simple understanding is what is the normal temperature, okay? Either that is decreased drastically or increased drastically. Both way, the entire weather pattern or the climatic pattern is going to be affected, and it will be making the situation much, much more worse, in a sense that more frequent, what we say, hydroclimatic disasters, right? Their intensity and frequency both will be increased in both the situations. Drought in situations of El Nino, floods in the situation of La Nina. So that is a simple explanation. If anyone wants to add anything to it, most welcome.
Right.
Dolphy,
Yes,
ma'am,
sir.
you can also go ahead. Yeah.
Yes, sir. I wanted to say something that a lot of people are misconstruing a super El Nino with zero flooding or very low chances of flooding. But it is on the contrary, because even though the frequency will decrease, the monsoons will become erratic, and the flooding again will increase. So El Nino does not mean more drought and less flooding. It means more drought and more flooding. So that is
Yeah.
one thing we should clarify. Right. So the next question is from Bose Babu. They are asking, can the government cover some insurance for agricultural output well in advance to compensate the farmers?
So yes, of course, there are different types of various types of schemes for farmers. Irrigations are the farming, the entire agriculture is also insured, their equipments are insured. But the problem of insurance is that, see, I already mentioned it during my talks, that in our country, most of the farmers are small and marginal farmers. Okay. And it's not like the Western world that we are farming on a very large farmland and one very rich owner is there. So small farmers are like, that very middle class and lower middle class. So one very common thinking in our country still that is exist. The first thing I already mentioned, there are various schemes of the government where the agriculture, where is the yield, where is the produce, where is the equipments, everything, the insurance schemes are there. But the common thinking is there, why should we invest in the insurance? Although if I'm suppose that if I'm a poor person and I don't have a lot information about all these droughts and monsoon and the loss of agriculture, what will happen, then the simple understanding why I'm spending 100 rupees for this insurance. So this mindset, this change of mindset should be there. And if I think Salinder, if you can want to add anything to it, you can go ahead, and Dolphy, you also. Major problem in the insurance sector, not only in the agriculture sector, but all sectors. What we see that people are unaware about the safety concerns. Safety is always the secondary concern. Like even in our households, we are not covering our houses under the insurance, and all of a sudden the fire is there and everything is destroyed. We are thinking that why should we pay monthly or annual some amount to a insurance company? but the reality is totally different. Insurance is should be, the government should also go ahead with like some mandatory provisions that at least this has to be insured.
Right. Shailendra sir, would you like to add anything to this?
So I think Raka sir has wonderfully explained it, but I think also events like La Nina and El Nino make losses these more unpredictable, and sometimes insurance system struggle to keep up with these frequent extreme events, so which may lead to delay in claim payments. And like Raka sir also said, people are not very much aware of this, and they don't have access to these kind of insurance policies even if the government is supporting it, because because sometimes there's a delay from the government side also, because in their subsidy payments, and some states nowadays even opt out of this scheme affecting farmers coverage. So yeah, like, but this is in the discussion, so I would say it's getting paced up in Indian system a bit more compared to previous years. Yeah.
Right. Thank you, sir. So, is there a country that we can look at which has a good, maybe risk indexed insurance? Is there a country that we can?
Yes, most of the Western world are having mandatory insurance provisions, and in developing countries like ours, we have already started, and schemes are there. But the uh, dissemination of information at the last mile is still a problem. In the Western world, it's either your USA, the agricultural insurance is mandatory, and similarly with the Australia and New Zealand, I have seen from my own eyes that every farm, every crop is insured. Okay, so the thing is again that safety concerns are the last concern for us. Leave about agricultural insurance. If you take a percentage of how many of us are having the health insurance, that is very basic, you will be surprised that it's less than 50% in India.
But sir, again, the issue is because most farmers are small and marginal farmers. They cannot afford insurance and they cannot afford to pay the premiums.
Yeah, that is one
So
thing. That is of course one thing. And see, this is of course a very important concern, whether we are giving the safety a priority concern or not. This insurance is not mandated for making them more poor. This insurance is actually devised by the government to make their life safe. But how much safety concern I'm adopting, that is a major reason. Either it's agricultural insurance or the health insurance or the house insurance. It's there to make us safe at the time of the utmost crisis. Now, प्रॉब्लम यहाँ पे ये है ना, बार बार मैं एग्जांपल देता हूँ कि why we used to wear helmet. It's not because that our safety is the major reason. It's because पुलिस वाला सामने खड़ा है and चालान काट देगा. That is why we wear helmet, and that is why we wear seat belts in the car. We don't think it's a safety provision. That is the reason. And awareness, of course, is a major cause for that. ये इतना आप जितना सुसाइड रेट और फार्म फेलियर और ये सब आप सुनते हैं, इफ द क्रॉप्स आर इंश्योर्ड, देयर इज नो रीजन टू बी वरीड.
Right, sir. So moving on, there is a question by Navdeep Singh. They're asking how forest fire and all can be decreased. So I believe both the speakers have given you different kind of mitigation and adaptation techniques which you can use, which will directly or indirectly help you in achieving that. But for specifically forest fire, over to both the speakers if you want to give some mitigation techniques for forest fire.
So you both are the experts, Salinder and
You
you
can
yourself. You can give some of the tips to the audience that how we can stop that.
Right. So over to you, Shailendra sir, for forest fire and house fire. Any tips you wanted to give?
So in this, I think most important tips would be, because recently I have seen also in the news this about the house fire and hotel fires in Delhi and in Bihar. So I would say it can be some mitigations. For example, the basic mitigations which people can have in forest fire. I would say plant like proper land use planning, maintain forest health, reduce risk. And having a proper information and communication channels with the, because people sometimes don't know whom to contact, and the right contacts they don't have. And I would say some, because also the the reducing the dry leaves, because I have seen in some forest areas in Europe, they properly maintained their forest and the nearby areas by doing this, reducing the dry leaves, grass, and dead wood, which may act as a fuel for fire in a forest fire case. So, for example, they use methods like thinning trees, removing dry biomass, and pruning branches, and all of those things. And in case of house fire, I would say, which is totally a day-to-day activity, like electrical safety. I would say, like avoid like overloading sockets is one of the main concern here. Replace damaged wires, switch off appliances when not in use, and also nowadays, which is most important in kitchen, like safe cooking practices. Never like keep like turn off the gas properly after use, or keep flammable items away from the stove, and keep the fire extinguishing tool like fire extinguisher, sand packet, and water supply. And also, because sometimes people don't know how to use them, they get afraid when something happen or some event happen, and they just try to run out of the house. But I would suggest to have some kind of because now we always rely on the system to have some kind of to call them and they will come. But in the meantime, we can have a house drill, to know how we can respond in such kind of a situation, even children how to respond in these kind of situations. And they can have an emergency exit clear, because nowadays in offices we have keep emergency exits clear, like where to go when something happens. But in houses, people don't know if something like this happens, where to go and plan an emergency escape route, for a family. So these kind of things, I think, basic thing, I think people can take care. Yeah.
Yes, very well explained.
Yes, yes, sir. Sir has covered almost everything. So I think that brings us to the close of question and answer session. We don't have any open questions. So now I would like to invite Sri Ranjan Kumar ji, DRR and CCA consultant, to kindly give the vote of thanks for this webinar.
Good
Over
afternoon.
to you.
Thank you, Dolphy, for inviting me. And good afternoon to everyone. सर्वप्रथम मैं हम अपने तरफ से दोनों जो स्पीकर हैं, जो हमारे स्टीम स्पीकर हैं, उनको मैं धन्यवाद देता हूं फॉर देयर इंसाइटफुल एंड एक्सपर्टीज शेयरिंग करने के लिए। इसके अलावा मैं उपस्थित ऑर्गेनाइजिंग टीम को भी धन्यवाद देता हूं, जिन्होंने अच्छी तरह से इस वेबिनार को कंडक्ट किया। और स्पेशल थैंक मैं देना चाहता हूं जो पार्टिसिपेंट यहाँ ज्वाइन किए हैं, जिन्होंने अपना टाइम दिया है इस वेबिनार को ज्वाइन करने में, तो उनको एक स्पेशल थैंक देता हूं अपने से। मैं आशा करता हूं कि आगे भी मैं इस तरह के वेबिनार को मैं आयोजित करते रहेंगे, जिसमें आपका योगदान बहुत ही जरूरी है। और इसलिए मैं आप लोगों से पुनः एक बार धन्यवाद देता हूं कि नेक्स्ट वेबिनार के लिए भी आप लोग उपस्थित रहेंगे और अपना कंट्रीब्यूशन जरूर दें। आपका कंट्रीब्यूशन बहुत जरूरी है, जिससे कि हम लोग भी कुछ लर्न कर सकें, और ये जहां भी कमियां रह गई हैं हमारे वेबिनार में, उसको हम और स्ट्रेंथन करें। तो ऑर्गेनाइजिंग टीम की तरफ से मैं सभी को एक बार फिर से धन्यवाद करता हूं। थैंक यू।
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Ranjan ji, and hopefully we will meet again. This was our first webinar, and we had capped the participation. If some of your friends or colleagues could not join, we apologize because we had capped the participation at somewhere around 30 participants, 30 external participants. So from the next webinar onward, we will increase the capacity, and all your friends and colleagues would be able to join. So we will again communicate the whereabouts of all the next webinars through WhatsApp or email. So thank you so much. Thank you to all the participants and speakers and the organization. So I'm closing the portal now. Thank you.
Thank you to all.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Ranjan, kindly close the portal. Ranjan ji, can you please close the portal?
Yes, yes.